Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today it's Saturday and I usually put a YouTube video up, but today I was on tour, which is a Stampin Up virtual convention, and so I didn't have time to make a video, but I'm actually sat in my craft room just making some tags, and I thought I'd show you how I made these simple little tags. I only use bits and pieces that are left over. It's nothing new, it's nothing I've invented, it's just something that I like to make, and I might add it to a birthday present, or I might put it on a bag if I've done a card kit and ladies are collecting them. I might just pop a little tag on. So what I usually use is literally just things that I would ordinarily throw away. And this is a piece of cardboard from one of my Stampin' Up boxes. These are the boxes that they're delivered in, and they are just perfect. I love this rippled effect. Sometimes I use these. These are the little cup holders that you get on Tim Hortons coffee. And it's the same rippling, but it's just a bit narrower. The only thing is, if I use these, I have to put a little piece of paper on the back. Whereas these ones, I don't tend to, I can write on there. So let me show you what I use and how I make them. I used to use just my own little cardboard cutout template to create the tag with. But lately, I've been using these, the tailor-made tags. And what I do is I've got one of the largest of each of the designs cut out. Pop those back. And here it is cut out, and I just trace around it. So all you do is you peel the backing off this cardboard. It's not much of a difficult thing to do. It's not state of the art, but it works. Now, I like some of the little bits of paper left on. Right, let me just take this off. Can you see how it leaves some bits on and takes some bits off? I like that. If you want to have just the ripples, then just keep peeling the paper off, and then you'll get just the ripply effect. So I just need to pick up a pencil, sorry. Just, here we are. Okay, so what I do is on the back, I get my little tag and I literally put it on the card, draw around it and cut it out. There's really no science to it. It's nothing difficult. It just makes a super little tag. So there we are, that's my basic tag already made. If you think it's a bit too flimsy, put a little piece of card on the back, just cut another one of these out. Now, stick it on the back so you've got somewhere to write. Then what I do, I'm just going to take a little bit off the top, just so that I can make the space to thread my ribbon. On the tags themselves, it automatically cuts this little hole. But I found that if I use the tag on this, it squashes all this cardboard, and that's not what I want. So I just sort of eyeball the middle and I use a punch. And this is only a small punch. So what I tend to do is put one in the middle, and then I put one at either side just to make a bigger hole. You can see I've got this sort of size hole. Okay. And then I go through my little box of bits and pieces and scraps. So what I was using earlier was this embossed piece. It's embossed with one of the C embossing folders. But honestly, you can't tell what it is. You can just tell there's some depth and dimension to it. But I tend to go through here and I'll use little bits and pieces that I've got left. So I'm using the smaller daisy punch. You could use a die on it if you've got a flower die that you like. You could use something like the ladybug punch. That would look really pretty. And I'm just going to cut two out. And then I can't get any more out of that one, so that one's going in the bin. I'll pop my punch away. I've also got this piece with the like the honeycomb pattern, because I thought that might look nice for a flower as well. Let's just cut one out and see. I love to create things with scraps, with leftovers, because I always think then I'm getting something for free. Something that I would ordinarily just throw in the garbage. Okay, so that's really pretty, look. That makes it pretty. Let's use that one. Okay, I'm just going to stick the two together. And because this is a 3D embossing folder, I might need a little bit more glue than normal, because it'll go into those little cracks and crevices. And I'm just going to offset the daisy petals. There we go. And then I'll leave that to dry. Okay. So you can see on this one, I've put a little piece of designer series paper. And what I use are these kind of little scraps that really, they're not always good to put on a card. There might not be enough of them. Let's use this little one. And you know, I can make herringbone cards with them and things, but sometimes I just like to do something different with them as well. And I'm going to do exactly the same as I did here. I'm just going to sort of tear the top of it. Okay, and then I'm going to measure it up. And then with my scissors, I'm just going to cut that off. I know it will overhang a little bit, but I'll cut that down later. And I'm going to put a little bit more wet glue on. And again, because this has got cracks and crevices on as well, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to stick. You have to make sure it's on these lines. But if you leave these little bits of paper on, then you know it's going to adhere onto there as well. So it's actually got a bit of a better sticking surface. Okay, let's chop that little piece off. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll make these to match a birthday card, and then if I have a gift that I'm giving to somebody, I can put the matching tag on. Another thing I do like to put on are these. Now, what are these called? I forget. The paper lattice. And I've seen lots of people thread ribbon through them, but let me just pop this on here so you can see. You see how it just gives it another little texture as well. So that looks quite pretty. I might use sort of a half a doily, something that I've cut out like this, or even the little vellum doilies. I'll just get one of those out and show you as well. So you don't need a whole one. No, you can just put a little piece on. Just put it across like this, and then put your flower on, or whatever your embellishments are. So there's lots of different pieces that you can use. Okay, now this is glued enough, so I'm going to pop some wet glue on the back. Come on out, wet glue. There we go. And I like to just put this at the left-hand side. That's just because that's how I make them. I tend to have my embellishment off towards the left. If you find that it's not sticking very well, pop a little bit of glue under the bottom petals and stick those down so that they're onto the designer series paper, and then they'll be fine. Okay, let's pop that one away. I've got the Boughs and Briggs punch as well, and you can use like green card. I'm going to use this little scrap of which colour is this? I think it's like the brushed metallic. So let's get that big one as well. You don't need very much of anything. And one of the things I do sometimes use, if I don't want to punch little leaves and things, is that ephemera pack. Let me just see where that is. Here we go. So in my box of embellishments, see this ephemera pack that was with the artistic ink set? I'll use these leaves because they're already punched, they're already cut, makes it easy. And I tend to put these on with a glue dot. And I'll put a glue dot on the back and a glue dot on the front so that I know it's either going to stick on the back, or if there's not much sticking on the back, I've got a little bit extra on the front as well. And pop this right under this flower. I don't really want to be able to see the bottom of it, so I'm trying to hide it. There we go. And I'm not worried if it goes over the edge of the, sort of over the edge of the die shape or the tag shape. Oops, let's pick that one up. And again, I'm going to put one on the back, one on the front. And I just stick them wherever there's a space. If there isn't a space, then, you know, I move it down a little bit. I just want that on the side a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to pop this one just under here as well. In fact, I did actually like that there, so let's just do the same. Let's put glue dots on front and back. You could wrap the glue dot around the base of the little die cut, the little punch. But what I find is the more surface area that you've got, the more likely it is to stay sticking on. So then this top layer of the petals, I'm just going to lift them up a little bit. I don't want them all up, but just to give you a little bit of texture. Okay, so let's get rid of that punch. And then I go through my stamp sets and I find little sentiments. You could do a happy birthday, you could do a thank you. I like this hello one, so I've got that already on a block. And let me see where I put my ink pad, because 5 minutes ago I had an ink pad. And, oh, here it is. I've got crumb cake. It's not green. You see how this is green on the edges? That's just from being in the sun. And then you just need a tiny scrap of paper. I've got a little bit of basic white, and what I often do is I'll make a lot of these. I'll just have like a half an hour and I'll make lots and lots of little pieces like this. So I'll stamp them and then I'll just roughly cut them out and pop them in my box, and then I know I've got a lot for another day when I'm making a journal or I want to make more of these. Let's just trim that up to make it straight. Oh, that's even worse. That's better. And then I'm just going to use my little sponge dauber. You could use a blending brush, you could use a sponge. Let's get that ink pad back again. And I'm just going to go around the edges, just so that it doesn't look quite so stark. If you're putting a little piece of paper on the back or a little piece of card, like the piece that you want to write on, you could stamp another little sentiment and you could go around the whole thing with your sponge. Okay, now let's find a dimensional. And you can see I've been using these little zigzag pieces across the bottom. So I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to use just the same. Across there. Oh, it's a tiny bit long. I'm just going to chop a little bit off because otherwise you'll see the dimensional. There we go. I don't want to be able to see it. Not sure that's quite straight. Look, that's just a little bit too long there. Let me just straighten that up. That's better. Let's get that sponge back out. There's still plenty of ink on it. That's better. Looks a little bit more square now. And then I'm going to put this one here. Depending on where this little sprig is where I put my sentiment as well. Okay, and then I'm going to use some of the fraying ribbon that we've got. It's called the frayed ribbon. It's 3/4 of an inch wide, and I'll just straighten that up. I love the look of this, just the edges frayed. It makes it look sort of a little bit more vintage, more shabby chicy. Okay, just going to measure a little piece that I want, cut this off. And you could use any ribbon that you've got for this. You don't have to use a fraying ribbon. And I'm just going to take a few little bits off. One end frays easily for me, the other doesn't. This is obviously the one that doesn't. Let me just find. I'm just going to get my scissors. I'm just going to try and poke that out a bit. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that off. I don't want too much of it frayed, I just want the ends of it frayed. I keep these pieces because I'll put 2 or 3 pieces together and tie a bow with them. Okay, and let's take the one off here as well. See, this one undoes much easier. I always seem to pick the end that doesn't fray as easily first. And then I'm thinking, uh-oh, it's not going to go through. But of course it does. And then I'm just going to get that, poke it through that hole that we made. And it doesn't matter what shape the hole is or whether you think it's too small, too big, because this wide ribbon will fit to the shape that it's got. So it fits in and just makes it look perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to use a little bit of twine. You could use the little bit that you've taken off here. That would look quite nice. You could use baker's twine, which I was using the crumb cake colour one on there. I'm going to actually try it with a little piece of this gold. I don't know if this will stay. Oh, I made a mess of that, didn't I? I don't know if it'll stay, sort of stay put, or if it will slide after it's tied. I'm not sure, so let's have a go. I usually tie these upside down. And just before I tighten it up, I'll open the ribbon like that. Oh, it is a bit slippery, this. I'm going to tie a knot in it and then my bow, just to hopefully keep it still. So. Okay, oh, no, that looks okay. Piece down, turn that piece around. I've got that piece a little bit twisted because it's not laying flat, but that's okay. I don't mind that. And then I'm just going to make the ends look. It's going to be like a bit of a lopsided bow, but once it's on a gift bag, nobody will notice. I'm just going to make my 2 ends the same. I tend to leave them quite long, so that they sort of go over the top of the flower or the leaves. Let's move that. Okay. And then for the little embellishment here, I was using the pastel pearls. And let me see, they're in this box. And it happens to have purple ones as well, so that's going to be just right for here. I'm just going to pop one right in the middle. You could add more on the background here as well if you wanted. One thing that does look nice are those little butterflies. These look very pretty on it. I've made a few with those last week. Okay, so there we are. That's my really quick and easy little gift tags. You could even put one of those on the front of a card. So let me just find a quick card base here. It won't be the right colour, but I've got a white card base here. You see how that would look just nice on there? You could put a little piece of embossed card under it. Let's just cut that off. I know this piece isn't going to really fit on, but look, if you gave it some little texture like that and then pop that on, I think that would make a really pretty card too. So there we are, that's my very fast little gift tags. I hope you'll give them a go. They're really simple, really easy, and really, they don't cost you anything. Apart from your little piece of ribbon, everything else is just a scrap. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all again really soon. Bye-bye.